Во имя Отца и Сына и Святаго Духа. Alright, dear brothers and sisters, we continue from yesterday, part 3 of answering Korra regarding our saints' attitude towards women and our Christian law regarding it. Okay? So we stopped at the first misrepresentation, and we're, as I always say, this is an apology addressed to Muslims to clarify their misconceptions of everything about our faith from A to Z, no matter in what subject, and by doing it, cleaning up after those heretics, those pagans, those grifters in the West, especially the American ones, the clowns, the entertainment, career Christians, grifters, and of course modalist heretics that they are mostly, and partialist heretics like the orthobros, all the dog logics of the world, the Islamophobes. Islamophobia has no business in our faith, and racism. So those are not Christians. They only use our faith as a weapon to attack Muslims and Islam because they're hateful people and they're sectarians and they are arrogant clowns who shouldn't be even engaged with. They should be ignored and disappear to oblivion. No one should take them serious and engage in their stupid points seriously, because they're just Protestant innovators, all of them, no matter what label they label themselves. They are modalist heretics, and they are Protestants who argue our faith straight from Scripture, like Protestants do, instead of the infallible works of the saints, who they think of as fallible speculators like Greek pagan schools, okay? This is what they think about our saints, that they're not under the Spirit, teaching the oral sacred tradition passed down to them by the apostles as their heirs in the Spirit as class of interpreters, okay? Of the Scriptures and everything. So the claims about our fathers that you, Korra, made, that they are hateful towards women and all that stuff, and misrepresented their quotes, coal-mined, cherry-picked, and without context, without anything, okay? So I'll explain to you, and I'll show you all the quotes in context. So let's move from the Holy Tertullianus of Carthago to Saint Basilius of Caesarea, Cappadocia, the Cappadocian father, okay? So you quoted him, and this is the quote: "For if she was beaten and could not bear the hits, she ought to remain with her spouse rather than separate from him." From his canonical letter 188, Canon 21, okay? So let me explain something to you, and this is also in your tradition. Always in our tradition, a husband as the head of his wife, as her tutor, yes. If she did things, and no matter what words the husband used, and all the things that he could say to stop her from doing something horrible, first and foremost to herself, let alone the husband and kids and all sort of things, okay? So he could discipline her, but not severely. Discipline her, but not tearing her apart with cruelty and severe blows and things like that. No. So this is the context. This is what he's talking about. And also, if he did it wrong, not justly, and hit her even in cases severely, but it was not wasn't a permanent thing, then the family and all that, she shouldn't divorce him. They could bring them to the priest and give him help in their marriage, so that situation would stop. Saving the marriage is saving the marriage, and only ending it if the marriage not valid, not following the Christian law and the law of God and His commands, and there is no hope. Okay, only in the cases of emergency, which I will explain to you. So this is what he talks about, Saint Basilius of Caesarea. Yes, and he used it to show that he doesn't care if the woman is treated horribly and abused. No, he taught himself from the New Testament. The blessed apostle commands the Christians that they must love their wife. They must love their wife, and that includes treating her, taking care of her, and all of those good things. Okay. So let's show that context. Yes, context. You said, Korra, that's what you want and that's what you love. Okay, so the context is in the Christian law instituted by the blessed holy Roman emperors. Okay, our saints, like Saint Theodosius, Roman Emperor Theodosius Junior, the son of the blessed holy Roman Emperor Theodosius Magnus, the Celt, from Celtiberia, from Hispania. Yes. Now the Theodosius Junior, the younger, he allowed already long before the Justinianus, which we'll get, the Justinianus Codex of Law, the Christian law, all compiled for good, permanently. It was finished in his time by him, yes? But long before him, something like 100 years before, Roman Emperor Theodosius the Younger, who continued and expanded on the laws of his Holy Father, and his Holy Father was expanding on the first Christian Roman Emperor, the baptizer, the equal to the apostle, the baptizer of all the Romans, all the pagans, and made the Christianity the official religion of the whole Roman Empire, and was appointed by God to do that with a special guardian angel to him. Yes, as the life of the emperor, the Roman Emperor Constantinus, Flavius Constantinus, written by Eusebius of Caesarea Maritima, explains, teaches the sacred history. And so here, the Roman Emperor Theodosius expanded. Theodosius the Younger, yes, allowed a wife to divorce her husband and claim her dowry back if she could prove she had been severely beaten. You see, severely beaten. This is the distinction that she didn't make, Korra. Okay? Like he could have killed her or stuff like that. You know. Not just a little discipline. There's a big difference, and you know it from your Islamic tradition too. You know it. Come on, we're not liberals, we're not feminists, we're not children. Okay, we know it. So when Blessed Justinianus, 100 years later, his law. Let's move to his law. That compiled those laws into one complete codex of law, which is called Iuris Civilis. Yes? So, He even revised the code even more, and make more a lot more expanded on more provisions for each case and so on. So in his law, if a husband was found to have committed unjustified, horrible assault, lays audacious hands on him, was the standard reverse. Okay? Now, the wife was entitled to divorce him and reclaim her dowry, even, not just divorce him. As reclaim her dowry as financial protection. Okay? Now, let's move to the other provisions then. Financial penalties, for example. If a husband was unfaithful or committed other severe marital offenses, his wife could legally divorce him. Okay? If there was no hope to bring him back from his adulterous life, practice, then yes, of course, the marriage is not valid according to Christian law. You can't live in a marriage who doesn't follow the law of marriage according to the faith. So it was annulled. So his wife could legally divorce him, and he would be again forced to forfeit the dos, the dowry, and the prenuptial gift. You know, the gift that he gives before the marriage. He was often required to return the dowry to her immediately. You see, immediately could be held liable for restitution. Okay? Now about the social issues. For example, an unfaithful husband could face infamy, a loss of social and legal standing, temporary banishment, which is relegation, and confiscation of property of his property if found guilty of related sexual misconduct or repeated illicit affairs. This is the expansion on what I said before. Now, she also have right to persecute. If a husband committed adultery with another married woman, he could be prosecuted by his wife's father or family members. Okay? The family also had, if she had a family, in most cases she does, they would be protectors of her also. She wasn't like a poor, alone in the world, abused woman, like you painted it as if this is a Christian marriage. No, nothing like it. Unless she didn't have, then she would get from the state, the imperial government, okay? And the local governors. So, the Corpus Juris Civilis, this is the law of Roman Emperor Justinianus Magnus Thrax, the Blessed Emperor, the Christian legislator, yes, by divine decree, of course, elected by God. So he expanded on protection for women. Husbands were restricted from alienating or mortgaging, putting on mortgage, real estate that the wife brought into the marriage. They didn't have the right to do that. Such as the dowry, which we mentioned. That was for ensuring her financial survival. Now, maternal and succession rights in the Juris Civilis, Justinianus significantly expanded the property and inheritance rights of wives, mothers, allowing women more independent control over their estates, and granting them the right to act as guardians for their children. I read the whole thing and also summarized it, broken it into titles which I made. I recommend all of you to learn about this beautiful, such a compassionate Christian law of our emperor, touching of all the aspects of life. It's perfect. Now, so in case of a husband adultery, a wife could legally divorce an adulterous husband, as we say. If the husband, for example, plotted against the wife, poison, sword, wanted to kill her, or physically beat and lashed her severely, you see, there were penalties, criminal associations even, if the husband was involved in treason, forgery, kidnapping, or associated with known criminals or highwaymen. Okay? Even by association, the wife could report on him, and he would be penalized if it was proven. Yes. If he falsely accused her of adultery and could not prove it, or was away from home for extended periods without justifiable reason, he would be getting penalties on it. Just on things like that even. The Christian law of marriage is very strict on both sides, okay? It goes both ways, okay? So the wife's adultery, for example, now we get to the wife. This was the primary ground, okay? The husband was legally obligated to divorce an adulterous wife. Failing to do so rendered him guilty of pimping. Criminal activity, similar to the wife's ground. A husband could divorce his wife if she was a prisoner, murderer, a frequenter of public games without his consent. Okay? Going around partying alone. Okay? Just as your tradition doesn't permit. Right? Without his consent, or if she attended dinners with strange men, you see? And the husband couldn't be pimping his wife. Disgusting, okay? And you know it. That's a beautiful thing. So, it's getting late. We'll move to the last saint, which you quoted. I think it was the last, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it was, yes, Saint Hieronymus, okay? Saint Hieronymus Pannonius of Stridon, okay? The Thracian bishop. In his work, this is the context. You quoted from his work against Jovinianus. Now, Jovinianus was a monk who argued with the saint that the spiritual level of both marriage and a life of celibacy is the same. Well, it's not, according to the Christian faith. Yes, marriage is beautiful. Marriage is for most people. Not all can and should be living the life of a monk, of an ascetic. Otherwise, the human race, obviously, the dynasty wouldn't be able to continue. There wouldn't be the human species would not continue if everyone was. But those who can, and by definition, those who can do it are always the very minorities. Their life of celibacy is higher than marriage, not to diminish from marriage, but a higher state because they remove all physical aspect which we find in marriage, despite the spirituality there, but there is also still the physical element there. In an ascetic life, it's a higher, it's totally living life only dedicated yourself, sacrificing your whole life to God, okay? So he was arguing about that, and you quoted, everything that is born of Sid, he says, is unclean and is bound by the taint of birth and the pollution of the flesh, even if it has been conceived in wedlock, okay? And he says also that about how do you call that in English? Menstrual, right? Something like that. Menstruating, okay? So he said that menstruating, yes, is a result of the corrupted human body after the original sin that made it diseased, okay? And that was a part of it, the menstruating of a woman. But it doesn't mean anything bad about her. It just says that that part that is a sign for making kids, for being fruitful. I don't know how to articulate it again. My English is not very good, but you know what I mean. But that thing that is a corruption of the human flesh, just like man has corruption in his flesh, so is the woman. Nothing hateful about women that he said about that, okay? So, without further ado, we'll wrap it up. This video, just one for today. I hope I clarified and answered all your questions, Korra. God bless you all, Latin brothers, Muslim brothers, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.